Welcome to the video. Before we begin, if not already, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And click the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload. Comment your little heart out. And most of all, please enjoy. Now back to the video. I don't usually tackle a movie this soon after release, but I need to talk about it. This movie, from James Wan, the filmmaker who made this grown-ass man too spooked to leave a movie theater after the lights came up, James Wan has a level of expectation. I'm not saying all his movies are alike. There is a level of quality, a level of atmosphere, scares, just general horror movie intensity that we've come to expect. Like M. Night Shyamalan always having a twist, Michael Bay blowing things up, or Stanley Kubrick having an actor make this face. It's not repetitious per se, but it feels off when it's missing. So, this movie by James Wan isn't exactly what you might expect. Does that make it bad? Not necessarily, but it does make it different. Don't be afraid to embrace a filmmaker going a bit wild. This is Malignant. And I'm gonna go into spoilers because I really need to talk about this. But since it's a new movie, I don't want to get too spoilery. If you want to skip the spoilers, go to the time at the bottom, and that's when I'll start getting vague again. I'll give you a second to fast forward if you want. 3, 2, 1. Bruce Willis was dead the whole time! The movie opens with a bunch of doctors freaking out over Gabriel, a homicidal patient we only get a glimpse of. But he seems to control electricity like Shazam, talks through the radio like Bumblebee, and murders people like the Punisher. Dr. Weaver is done being the nice doctor and goes into house mode.
It's time. We cut out the cancer.
General Hospital will continue in a moment.
Madison lives in Seattle with her abusive husband Derek, and no, they didn't just switch reels on us. They argue, and Derek slams her head against the wall. Keep in mind, she's pregnant. Yeah, I hate this guy already. She locks herself in the bedroom and he sleeps on the couch. But before she can Lorena Bobbitt his dick off, later that night she has a dream that someone or something murders her husband. And when she wakes up, it turns out to be true. I know this is Seattle, but for some reason Miami Vice shows up. And who ordered Wanda Sykes from Wish? Madison goes to the hospital, but her unborn baby did not make it. She's had a few miscarriages in the past, and this will be important later. When Madison goes back to an empty house, she's a bit paranoid. This will at least keep out the aliens from Signs. There are some gorgeous shots in this movie, like this one. Call it gimmicky, but it also gives you the sense that Madison is running from something that knows where she is at all times. I kinda wish there were more shots like this, but this is kind of the movie's money shot. Madison reveals to her sister Sydney that she was adopted, and by the look on Sydney's face, you'd think she was the adopted kid.
We're closed!
And no, we didn't switch reels again. The killer kidnaps a seemingly random tour guide. Madison has a vision of the killer murdering Dr. Weaver with an ironically lethal medical trophy. This effect is really cool. The killer still has that tour guide and fashions the trophy into an even more effective murder weapon. Another vision, another victim. Ew, his junk is scraping over my neck. This time Madison goes to the cops, because she's got a clue where it happened. You see, he's already dead. Going to the cops makes no sense. Have you ever seen a movie where a psychic or someone has the inside track on a murder victim? They go to the cops, and all it does is it makes them the murder suspect? Yeah, you're kind of a murder suspect now. Madison gets a phone call from Gabriel, and he seems to know an awful lot about her. So there is a connection between these two.
Your fake mother gave you the name Madison.
Madison's adopted mother adds a few tidbits.
Who the hell is Gabriel?
When Madison was wee, she had an imaginary friend named, you guessed it, Gabriel. So maybe not so imaginary when he can pick up a phone. The cops find another dead body. Their connection? All doctors who treated Madison before she was adopted. Specialists in plastic surgery. Hypnosis reveals that Gabriel was able to influence Madison as a child, and at one point almost making her kill her sister. Sorry about that. You mad? And the cops are momentarily sympathetic to Madison as she appears to be a victim in all this. That is until the kidnapped tour guide falls out of her fucking ceiling. This was her attic the entire time. The murders are, of course, pinned on Madison, and she's arrested. even when Gabriel calls them taking credit for everything. Because, you know, a suspect in the hand is worth two in the bush. Sydney goes to the hospital where they treated Madison as a child, which is somehow abandoned, mostly intact, yet not filled with crackheads. Of course, she immediately finds what she's looking for. Meanwhile, if I'm looking for a specific Christmas decoration, I have to go through every tub in my storage, even though I'm the one who filled it. The evidence is intriguing. Madison's birth mother is not dead. In fact, she's the tour guide from the attic. I mean, she fell like 3 floors. It's like a really high vaulted ceiling with some nice woodwork. Kind of sad to see it all messed up. I'm missing the point here. Madison's childhood connection to Gabriel goes deeper than we thought. Okay, this is incredibly shocking. I did not see this coming. And he reminds me of the old lady who bought chocolate from SpongeBob. And how did they treat Gabriel? Well, they cut off what they could. His little arms and stuff. But I shit you not, what they couldn't cut off would have hurt her. So they stuffed little Voldemort back in her skull, closed her skull back up. That's kind of like the surgical equivalent of kicking the mess under the bed. He's like an overloaded sock drawer that won't close properly, so you gotta like push your hand in there and get that drawer closed. Well, this leaves Gabriel dormant until a blow in the head woke him up. Madison is thrown in the clink and the tough criminal ladies immediately start to pick on her. Hands off the hair.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
And he's back. What's been happening, when Gabriel wakes up, he hijacks Madison's body. He like reverses her body when she rips her scalp open. Gabriel's fucked up face just kind of peeks out. What's up? I mean, calling her double jointed is putting it lightly. This reverse movement gives Gabriel a very unusual way of moving, and it's just so creepy. She transforms in the jail and turns into Gabriel, and since he's facing out the back, that becomes the front. And it's just so... blah. Whoa, Black Betty, bam, lamb, whoa, Black Betty. And Gabriel kills every occupant of that cell, probably about 20 women. And then Gabriel gets out of the cell and slaughters most of the police department. I don't think the Terminator had an on-screen body count this high. It's just so awesomely balletic and violent. You still see Madison's face behind Gabriel, just kind of there. It's cheesy as hell, but it's fucking funny. And Gabriel gets away from the cops and goes straight to the hospital where the birth mom is. He's a little mad about being given up for adoption. How could you not love this? And I think it's a bit late for I'm sorry. Here's a puppy.
You have to fight him, and he killed your babies. He was the cause of your miscarriages. He was feeding off of your fetuses.
It is on.
This gives Madison the strength to overpower Gabriel and imprison him in her mind.
But next time, I'll be ready for you.
Then her head heals itself. It closes like a barn door. Skulls don't work that way. Gabriel's physical strength is never explained, but apparently Madison has it too because it's her body. Do you even lift conjoined, bro? Madison realizes family is defined by the people who love her and not the evil California raisin living in her skull. And that was Malignant. And welcome back to spoiler-free territory. I told you, this movie goes places. It is a ride. Sure, it's campy, it's cheesy, it's illogical, it's really dumb, but it's also entertaining as hell and a riot. Movies like that have a special place in my heart. It's like Evil Dead 2, House, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Movies that take horror elements, but delivers it in an entirely unexpected experience. You're lulled into thinking you know where the movie's going, but when that left turn comes, it's a record scratch and a what? Madison's a little bit of a vanilla character until you get a load of what's happening back there. Gabriel is unlike anything I've seen in a while. The electrical superpower seems a bit tacked on, and it only seems to be giving Gabriel a method of communication that's too convenient. I've gone on record before, and it bothers me when the supernatural can dial a phone. Make no mistake, there are many elements that appeared in other movies that make this movie feel a bit too familiar, but what James Wan does with those elements makes this movie freshly unique and crazy. This movie is gory. It's bloody. It is a squirmer and at times a fist killer. The violence is really over the top, unapologetic, just plain brutal. Gorehounds will have a blast with this movie. Acting can be melodramatic at times, but it fits the tone. It's kind of like a B movie that's cranked to 11. It switches gears a lot, and when it's over, I see yet another genre here. This would make a really cool supervillain origin story. Malignant is 4 Bs. It's campy, it's silly, kinda goofy, but it is entertaining, and it's not taking itself seriously, and neither should you. It's fun and a blast to watch with friends. It's fun and a blast to watch with friends Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment the bell, you know, the usual YouTube stuff. This is The Newbie, and I'll see you later, kids. Toodles. Do you see something weird going on?